So, yeah, it looks like the single life is not going that well for Tia Mowry, because it looks like she's trying to spin the block with her ex-husband, Cory Hardrict. But Cory is not having any of it, because he just threw some major shade at Tia for trying to win him back. Now, Tia and Cory have been doing a great job of co-parenting their 2 kids after Tia filed for divorce in 2022, but it looks like Tia wants so much more from Cory. But y'all, it looks like we're about to see some more drama from these two, because Cory is ready to put it all out on Front Street to embarrass Tia. So let's break it down. It's kind of crazy to imagine that Tia would be the one trying to win Cory back, because we all assumed that Cory would be the one pushing for reconciliation, not Tia, because she was the one who filed for divorce first. Now, Tia announced their divorce in 2022 on Instagram saying, "I always been honest with my fans, and today is no different. I wanted to share that Cory and I have decided to go our separate ways. These decisions are never easy and not without sadness. We will maintain a friendship as we co-parent our beautiful children. I am grateful for all the happy times we had together and want to thank my friends, family, and fans for your love and support as we start this new chapter, moving forward in our lives." Now, we all thought that the relationship was rock solid at first, but clearly we couldn't have been more wrong. From the outside, they gave us this picture-perfect vibe like everything was smooth and steady, but when the news of their divorce broke, it felt like a curveball that no one saw coming. Everybody had bought into the idea that they were in it for the long haul, so when she announced the split, it sent shockwaves. What made it even more surprising, though, was her initial claim that things would remain peaceful and respectful between them. But as time went on, it became more obvious that her hopes for a calm and amicable separation were overly optimistic. Whatever was happening behind the scenes didn't match the polished image that she was trying to present. No, she didn't exactly spill all the tea about what caused their marriage to fall apart, but she did drop some pretty big hints. And from what she shared, it seemed like financial struggles were at the core of their issues. Honestly, that wasn't shocking to anybody who's followed their relationship over the years, but let's face it, Tia was always the one carrying the financial weight in that household. She wasn't just successful, she was already a household name long before Cory entered the picture. But back in the day when they first met, Tia was thriving as a lead actress on Sister Sister, the hit sitcom that catapulted her and her twin sister to fame. By the time Cory came along, her career was already in full swing, and she had solidified herself as a Hollywood success story. Meanwhile, Cory was still working to carve out a name for himself in the entertainment industry. Their weird dynamic, with her being the established star and him trying to find his footing, might have worked at first. But over time, it could have created a growing imbalance. The pressure of being the primary breadwinner likely weighed heavily on Tia, especially because it seemed like they had disagreements about how money was being spent or managed. And while she never outright said it, there was an unspoken implication that this financial divide caused tension that became even harder to ignore. Add in the usual challenges of maintaining a marriage in the public eye, and you can start piecing together why their relationship might have crumbled. But Cory himself opened up about the struggles he faced early on in their relationship, even admitting during an interview that he felt pressured to propose before he was financially ready. He opened up about how the societal and personal expectations placed on him as a man added to that pressure. Well, I'm going to tell you this. Every Christmas or birthday, I felt the pressure mount. Because she would look, it would be Christmas. No, not every... I think up until maybe the last year. When she had a birthday, I think she was expecting, something last year, before it happened. Before we got engaged. I remember I felt the pressure and we would talk about it on the phone. She'd throw little hints like,
Well, I'm going to tell you this. Every Christmas or birthday, I felt the pressure mounting because she would look and it wouldn't be no ring.
Every Christmas,
no,
Cory?
Not
that's
every.
not true.
I think up until the last year, when she had a birthday, I think she was expecting something.
Last year, what?
Before it happened, before we got engaged.
No,
I remember. I felt the pressure, and we would talk about it on the phone. She would throw little hints like that. It's probably not gonna work out if he ain't trying to marry me. Like, what are we doing? We just dating, and she don't date, and And so I was kind of like, man, I have to marry her. But it wasn't like I didn't want to marry her. I just wasn't ready financially. I'll be honest. I felt like I was afraid. I was scared. I was just like, man, this is serious. But then I said, you know what?
But I think we have
Hold
to
on,
bring.
babe. Let me finish.
Sorry.
Please.
It's probably not going to work out if he ain't trying to marry me. Like, what are we doing? We just dating, and she don't date. And so I was kind of like, man, I have to marry her. But it wasn't like I didn't want to marry. I just wasn't ready financially. I'm being honest. I was afraid. I was scared. I was just like, man, this is serious. But then I said, you know what? Money's not everything. People think that it is, or that's what, you get fake people and fake friends and all that with money. But I said, one thing I said, you know what? I got faith. And that's one thing I never wavered, my faith. And that's just the honest truth. He said, I love her. She loves me. It's real. We'll make it work no matter what. I don't care what people gonna say. Why are you marrying this broke? I said, whatever. We're going to make this work. But despite Cory's initial struggles, Tia seemed perfectly fine with their arrangement when they got married. And the couple stayed married for 14 years. For over 10 years, she appeared to embrace their setup, continuing to thrive in her career while supporting Cory as he found his footing. But as the years went by, something shifted. Tia started to feel the weight of being the primary breadwinner in their relationship, and it began to bother her more than she let on at first. Subtle signs of her discontent began to surface, particularly on social media. She didn't outright call Cory out, but she didn't need to. Her actions spoke volumes. At one point, she liked a video shared by the Neighborhood Talk that addressed the frustrations of being with a partner who doesn't pay bills or contribute financially to the household. Now, for a lot of fans, this was a clear indication of how she was feeling, and fans quickly connected the dots, speculating that Tia was sending a message about the dynamics in her own marriage. While she never publicly confirmed it or denied it, these subtle moves painted a picture of someone who was growing increasingly tired of carrying the financial load alone. Tia didn't just stop at liking the video. She went a step further and left a shady side-eye emoji under the post, making sure her feelings were loud and clear. And trust me, the internet wasted no time catching the hint. People quickly pieced it together, speculating that Tia had finally reached a breaking point with Cory's lack of financial contributions. The general consensus? Sis had had enough of carrying the load and decided it was time to let him go. After that, though, Tia mostly kept things classy and stayed quiet about the details of the divorce. She seemed focused on moving forward and showing the world that she was unbothered and ready to start fresh and date again. Well, Cory, on the other hand, went full petty mode. Instead of keeping it clean, he started stirring up his own drama, doing everything he could to complicate the divorce proceedings. At one point, he even tried to go after Tia's money, which only made him look messy in the court of public opinion. While Tia kept it together, Cory seemed determined to make the split as difficult as possible. Cory responded to Tia's divorce filing by asking for alimony, even pushing the courts to review the prenup they signed before they got married. According to the court documents, Cory and his lawyers asked for the determination of the validity of the prenuptial agreement dated April 14, 2008, and/or that any provisions are unconscionable. This meant that Cory and his lawyers were trying to claim that the prenup was signed too close to the wedding, and that he might have been coerced into signing the prenup against his will. When Cory made that move to go after Tia's money, people didn't hold back. They dragged him for filth. The general reaction was, how dare he, after all Tia did for him. But as the dust settled, some fans started to think his motives weren't purely about the money. Speculation grew that Cory wasn't actually interested in her finances. Instead, he might have been using it as a way to stall the divorce. Maybe he thought if he dragged things out long enough, he could convince Tia to reconsider and give their marriage another shot. And things took a messier turn when Cory somehow managed to get that prenup thrown out in court. That move seemed to be the final straw for Tia, and she decided it was time to stop playing nice. If Cory wanted to fight dirty, she was more than ready to meet him at his level, and she didn't hold back either. Tia went straight for the jugular in her request with the court to make sure that she got everything that belonged to her in the marriage. And when I say everything, I mean everything. And I'm not just talking about big-ticket items like houses, cars, or bank accounts. No, sis went full petty mode right back. She wanted airline miles, credit card reward points, and even the points accumulated on cards tied to entities she owned. It was clear that Tia wasn't trying to settle with anything on this divorce, and she was making a statement. Sis said, "I want it all." Well, quickly, Cory realized the heat that she was bringing and decided it wasn't worth the fight. Because rather than let things escalate further, he backed off and let the divorce wrap up without any more drama. In the end, the divorce was finalized, and both of them walked away. But it was clear that Tia wasn't about to let him walk all over her, not without a fight. But unfortunately for him, Tia's mind was already